James is having Ritz cracker Caesar salad, some grapes. We're going to talk about The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz. 6 Minutes to Midnight. And this under here is Rizzoli and Isles, and this is the last part of the series. Subservience, The Seventh Day, Place of Bones, and Wicked got the bottom of the stack from me.
Did you talk about the hippie snacks?
Oh, we're going to review this too, because I bought this on clearance for $1.37. So we'll see how it is. It has some decent ingredients, so maybe. Oh, anyway, you want to try that first? The hippie snack.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't opened them yet. Do you want me to open it? You have trouble with these.
Anyway, it looks to be a Canadian product. I'm encouraging people around the world to avoid
made in
shopping
Canada.
American products for American stuff. How do they feel? Or
These taste healthy.
hippie snacks.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a kick. Banana. Maybe maybe they should have been called Mellow Yellow, like that Donovan song.
I don't know.
About smoking
I mean, they're not
banana
bad. They're just not special either. I'd like to dip them in something unhealthy to make them taste better.
It has almond butter in it.
I know, it has lots of good stuff in it.
I wish it had more almond butter. It's not bad.
I know.
But I've just
It's pretty boring, though.
finished up a container of almond butter, like peanut butter.
Like,
And that stuff's good.
you know what I eat as a hippie snack? I cut up apple and I eat it dipped in almond butter. That's really good.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
It is. It's delicious. Anyway, The Wizard of Oz. Now, I'm going to, you know,
it's
that
okay
I gave...
if I have some of this. Were you going to introduce this? Or did
No.
you? Tangy seafood sauce.
So,
Looks like I got open.
I didn't watch the second disc and all the special features and whatever, but you know,
Neither did I.
I didn't bring out the book for Wicked. I do have it in there somewhere, but I couldn't find it while I was
Oh my God.
looking.
Is that supposed to be a remake
Well, it's sort of
for kids?
a
A
I don't
sequel?
know.
Prequel?
No, not at all. Like a kind of spin-off-ish sort of thing.
Okay.
And I actually enjoyed reading the book
Yeah.
years ago, and it didn't seem like they stayed really true to the story, but I mean, it's been a long time since I read it. It's in the porch somewhere. But anyway, my sister didn't like the book. I'd recommended it to her because I like The Wizard of Oz. I'm a big fan. So
when did she
it's
read
pretty
it?
hard to
When
go
she was
wrong with
older?
The Wizard of Oz for me, huh?
When did she read it? Long
I
time
don't
ago?
know, when she was living in Edmonton, I think.
Okay, quite a while.
A long time ago.
But
It
she
might
was-
have even been before then.
But she was a grown.
So sometime after it came out. I don't know when the book came out. I don't know where the book is. So I really can't tell you. But I can tell you this is more of a spin-off from the movie The Wizard of Oz than it is the book The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. Because, well, for one thing, you'll notice that the Witch of the West, she's green. She's green in The Wizard of Oz. And she wears black like this. In The Wizard of Oz, the book, she does not. It is very clear in The Wizard of Oz, the book, that all of the witches dress in white. That's the color that they wear. So there's not, like this one, you have the Witch of the, well, she calls herself Glinda, but she's not Glinda in the book, because in the book, Dorothy meets the Witch of the North in Munchkinland, and you're not told what the Witch of the North, what her name is. Glinda is the Witch of the South, and you're not introduced to her until right near the end of the book, like basically right at the end of the book. And anyway, so what was I going to say about her? Anyway, in the movie, Glinda, who calls herself the Witch of the North, which she is not in the book, she's the Witch of the South. Glinda is wearing like a kind of peach colored dress, not white. And her hair is reddish because Glinda is supposed to have red hair and blue eyes. But it's not, you don't get any idea in the book what the Witch of the East looks like. Her feet are sticking out and you see the slippers, which in the book are silver, not red. And that's all. That's one thing in Wicked, but you don't know what color her skin is or anything like that. But you do know that she is the sister to the Witch of the West. So the Witch of the East and the Witch of the West, they're sisters. So you can assume they look similar, maybe. The Witch of the North does not look like Glinda. She is no bigger than the Munchkins, and old. She's a little old lady. So, and later on in The Wizard of Oz, I think you're told who she is, but it's not clear. It's just a guess that I have. But anyway, what else is different about these things? So many things, really.
Well, the framing device, spoiler alert, these guys are introduced as just regular people.
Yeah, at the beginning. Yeah.
Framing device. And they're at the end too. They're just regular people.
Just regular people. And so in The Wizard of Oz, the movie, it's like, oh, well, it was all a dream.
Yeah.
That Dorothy
and then
had
I woke
when
up.
Exactly. That is not the case in The Wizard of Oz, the book. This is a political commentary that L. Frank Baum uses as he uses the characters of Oz and everything like that to tell a story about American politics at the time. Well, probably around 1890s when he was writing it, right? And so anyway, you do get the Munchkins in Munchland Land. In this, are all colorful. They wear all sorts of different colors. Nope. In the book, their color is blue. In The Wizard of Oz, the book, color is very important. So, like the Winkies' color is yellow. And I believe their skin is even yellow in the book. So, the people who work for the Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, the movie, they're Winkies, we know that, but because they have to be. We know that from the book. They have to be Winkies, but they're not, their color isn't yellow. They have outfits that look more like, I don't know, Russian soldiers or something. And they're green, like the Witch of the West is in this movie and this movie, which she is not. She's not green. I'll read you a little bit from this so that you know what color she is, because it says in here, and so you can then assume that the Witch of the East is that same color. So this is the part of the book, this is page 88 I'm reading from, but I don't know if it's the same page in your copy, so you can check. So this is right when Dorothy right after she's thrown the water on the witch. She sees the witch actually melting away like brown sugar before her eyes. And then you go on a little further and it's repeated. With these words, the witch fell down in a brown, melted, shapeless mass.
There you go.
And began to spread over the clean boards. And it's clear, because why would she say, or why would he say, L. Frank Baum or Dorothy looking at this, why would the witch be brown sugar? If she was melting brown sugar, why would it be that color? It would just be sugar. But then it's repeated so that you know that's what color she is. She's not green. So I think that certainly the people who made both of these movies did read the book, but they didn't stay close to it, and I think it's probably for political reasons. It really surprises me that they used an actress, they painted her green, but she would be brown colored in real life under that green makeup, and I think that's really interesting that they did that. And I don't know if it's a good thing, honestly, but it stays truer to the, it brings us back to the story, which everyone should be reading right now, because this is very relevant to, you wouldn't think that a story this old would be relevant now, but it is more relevant than anything else you can read. Certainly more relevant than anything you hear Donald Trump tweeting or twittering or whatever every day. Read this. It doesn't take long. It's a short little kid story.
Tooting, I think.
Is that
it's
what
like
he does?
It's coming out of the other end.
Okay. So all the things, like James was mentioning, in this movie, you're introduced, Toto's been digging in the neighbor's flower bed, and she's a terrible woman, and, well, she looks just like the Witch of the West when you meet her later on. So, but in this, no, that doesn't happen. In this movie, Aunt Em and Uncle Henry, they're a lot better off. They have a barn, they have all sorts of things on their farm. They have a house with actual rooms.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
In the movie. In this, no, they're living in a shotgun shack together. It's just a one-room shack with an old rusted stove. It's very clear that they are dirt poor, and there's nothing growing. Everything's dead outside. It's they don't have any white picket fence or anything like that. They don't have neighbors for miles around. There's nobody else you're introduced to, just Aunt Em and Uncle Henry, and they are gray. They're gray. Everything's gray.
It's kind of sad, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. But this, it's a sepia color for some reason. But I think it's an interesting thing that they did, because then when you get to Oz, wow, you're just like overloaded with color, right?
Well, it's like the old photos from way back when.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool that they did that. But everything's supposed to be gray, so sepia, they could have done it in black and white at the beginning, and I think it actually would have worked better.
Well.
But anyway, because one thing, in this movie, these two young ladies, this is supposed to be Glinda here with blonde hair, which Glinda does not have blonde hair in the book or in this movie, and she shouldn't have.
What did she have in the movie? It was kind of strawberry.
Kind of reddish, yeah, a little bit reddish. It was okay. So anyway, in this movie, these guys are at school, and you are introduced to Bach, who is a munchkin, who is actually mentioned in this book. He's a wealthy farmer, because the munchkins are all farmers. But anyway, so it shows that somebody did read the book when they did this. And what else was I going to say? Oh, the school colors, everybody is wearing gray and blue together, which is kind of weird.
Gray and blue.
Yeah, gray and blue together, because that's doesn't give you, maybe it's, solidarity of the country. No, this is, the gray and blue refers to soldiers' uniforms. It's obvious.
Well,
and
like
there's another meaning for the blue in here and stuff like that, but figure it out. So what else? What didn't I like about this movie, Wicked? Well, I'd liked the book, so why didn't I like the movie so much? Well, it's a musical, and
lots of tunes. There were very few.
I can't remember any. I can't remember any of them. Whereas this one, boy, I remember everyone. And I remembered them. I'd only watched this once when I was a little child. Remembered every tune my whole life long. I could sing along with, or sing.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Sure, you betcha. I knew all the words to all of them, and I'd only watched it once.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful wizard.
But I will talk about this and this a little bit more later. I want to get to the other things. So, I'll just say the music in this was not memorable. The lyrics, even less so.
Oh.
the lyrics, the only thing that sometimes you were like, oh man, they didn't nail the accent. You
So
gotta nail
that's
them.
the only thing
You
that was
gotta
memorable
nail them
when
all
they
the
really
time.
did garbage.
Exactly. And boy, you don't want to remember that. So,
Nope.
no good. They trotted out a lot of stars.
Oh, did they?
Yep. But
Okay.
then there's a lot of people waiting for this one on hold. I'll have to return it before I review more Wizard of Oz stuff.
Yeah.
But
I'm telling you, I'm not motivated to watch it. I did
there are
watch
30-some people, 37, some, I don't know, some people.
Oh, they're suckers
30-something.
for punishment all the
People
time.
waiting for that on hold. Anyway, but I guess, okay, well, one thing I liked about this is the snow in the poppy field instead of the mice, although I have to think on it a bit more, but in the book, the witches had nothing to do with the poppy field at all. I understand why they only use 2 witches, because it's easier to have one good witch, one bad witch, and whatever. You're doing it for kids, and so there's a lot of stuff.
Simplifies things.
Yeah, but I'll talk about that stuff later on because I want to get through the rest of this. 6 Minutes to Midnight is great. I mean, Judi Dench is always great to watch. There's some other people in here that are great to watch. I don't know that I really, like, they were talking about how they had, this is about a school for girls, a school for German girls in England, in Britain. And I guess they had these back before the war, and then they didn't.
Well, it looks like World War II. Right?
Yeah. And so I guess there were spies and stuff like that back then.
Well, I am telling you, there's a lot of squawking about interning of Japanese people in North America. They interned even Jews from Germany in England during World War II. Did they talk about that, interning people, putting them in camps?
And so while I was watching this, you're supposed to feel kind of sorry for these girls and whatever, and I'm just thinking, what are they doing there? Anyway, but whatever. Rizzoli and Isles, I finally got through the whole box set, 24 discs. This is a lot of television, and I enjoyed it well enough. I mean, I don't really expect too much from TV. I didn't like the way Rizzoli's hair was always down, or pretty much always down and flowing and whatever. When she's working, it should be tied up.
That's the way. I worked
Nobody
in a cop
would
shop.
have their hair all flowing.
Come on, criminals, grab hold of me while I'm my hair while I'm trying to arrest you.
I know that they were thinking, oh, well, she looks so beautiful with her hair down. We want her to look beautiful.
But not
well,
realistic.
that's not her character, wanting to be all femme and whatever. She's
kind of rough sounding.
Yep, she is. And she should be.
Well.
And you can have her put her hair down at the end of the workday or whatever, and then you're like, oh, look at her being so beautiful, or whatever. Fine, but not while she's working. Doesn't work. So, did you have anything to say about that?
Rizzoli? Well, it doesn't sound like real cop stuff to me, but there we go.
Anyway.
I worked in the cop shop for 2 years. That's a good thing. Most shows have nothing to do with cops. So.
Yeah. Anyway, there was one episode in particular that I really didn't like. There was a woman who, she was saying, I'm not going to give you any choice but kill me. You're going to go down as a police officer that's whatever, dirty and shoots people or something like that, and it's like, nobody would do that. Nobody would just say, oh, I'm going to be a sacrificial lamb just to destroy you. Nobody would do that.
People do suffer death by cop. They're suicidal.
Yeah.
And so they'll draw a weapon on the cop and they want the cop to kill them. But
yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it.
No. Yeah, but that's suicide by cop. That's different. That's not, I'm out to get you and I'm going to sacrifice myself and this is a really, premeditated whatever. It's just ridiculous. So, anyway, Subservience. This is about another AI powered robot, it says on the background.
Oh, fun times.
That's a caregiver. And
brought to you by Elon Musk or something?
no, I think it's just the opposite. I mean, you get the sense in this, no, keep the technology away, which is weird, right? Because you have this whole, we're looking at this, and more importantly this, but I mean, you still have the Tin Man in this, right? And that's pretty much a factory thing, right? So that's, and you have the whole issue with, well, there's a lot of things mentioned in the book that you should read for yourself. So anyway, technology, it's not, it doesn't take away jobs and stuff like that. It really doesn't. It keeps people from enslaving each other more than they would otherwise.
Have done otherwise.
Yeah, so technology isn't a bad thing. But, I mean, in times when, I mean, in this movie, you have, she's uploading her information onto a system, that's a concern, right? When you have the connectedness that we have now, it's problematic. So
well, it's made for people like Joseph Stalin.
Sure.
I mean, he set up a totalitarian place. People said, oh, it's just authoritarian. No, that was actually the Nazis. They weren't totalitarian the way the commies were. And, you know, they were monitoring this, spying here, doing this and that everywhere. And, of course, the ultimate is they'd even kill people that were totally innocent. It's just whacking people, the whole idea. So the whole thing is, man, I'm not going to do anything that can be even slightly misinterpreted as being disloyal or whatever, or suspicious. That's Stalin. Russia under Stalin was stunning. Totalitarian. I get that straight. Some of you folks are like, oh, there's no such thing as totalitarianism. There is. And Stalin was the guy who really got it going.
So I'm not going to buy any more of these unless you want me to.
No.
No. So this gets the even at clearance prices.
No.
No.
I'm about as enthused about those as I am about the hippie movement generally. So.
Okay. Okay. The seventh day. The acting was okay and everything. I'm just not into these whole demon exorcism movies.
You know,
There's
it's
so
probably
many of
I'm the
them,
same
and-
way about the original one, at least in my lifetime, The Exorcist. You know, I don't think I ever saw all of it, but it was kind of ridiculous. You know,
Yeah.
spoiler alert in case you haven't seen it. Anyway, yeah.
There's
sorry.
kind of a different twist in this one.
It's a Stephen King thing. You got to be disappointed then.
No, it's not.
Oh, Stephen Lang. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, I don't think he'd ever do anything like this. Anyway, it's not worth watching as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think that's just because I don't like the demon possession, exorcism stuff. It's just not worth it. Place of Bones. Well, you get to see that Heather Graham is actually a terrible actress. So,
Have we been thinking otherwise, or is this?
well, I never really thought about her one way or the other. I thought she was cute. I never really. She seemed to do okay, and
in supporting roles.
yeah,
Now she's out front and center.
she's a little bit too out front in this. Maybe that's the problem. She
There you go.
really isn't made for it.
There are lots of people that way. Huh?
I don't mind the Western. It's,
Even the guy that's trying to channel Clint Eastwood without the looks.
Yeah, I don't mind the Western. It's a different kind of story. The ending did surprise me, but in order for me to be impressed with an ending that surprises me, I have to get some clues along the way that make me go, what's going on here? And you don't get that. I mean, you're looking at it and you do kind of go, how are these people surviving out here? but it doesn't work. So,
Is she trying to look tough on the front cover? Is that what it's just that?
well, she's
That one
kind of
you brought?
tough. She's a good shot,
Okay, so she's got
but-
an amazing gun. Yeah.
but no, not really. I don't know. It's just not good. So you can go ahead and
The guy
talk-
looks about as convincing as a cowboy as some of these drugstore cowboys that got singing country songs now.
Oh, speaking of singing, I should actually mention that, well, you can't beat Judy Garland. I remember when I was little thinking, oh, she's supposed to be a kid, or whatever, and it's kind of ridiculous, but
Well, she was a teenager, but
whatever,
she still was
she's-
a good actor. For
yeah,
a teenager.
they couldn't have gotten somebody better
It's hard
for
to
the role
imagine,
because
because
she's singing.
great
You need
singer,
a great
yeah.
singer for this.
She does
The songs
some
are
pretty good
worth
dancing
having
too.
a great singer. Now there are some great singers in this one. These women have pipes. Nothing like Judy Garland, and they just don't have the material to work with. If they had,
Decent
what's his
tunes
name?
and-
Yep, something. I can't remember what his name is. The guy who wrote the songs for this. But anyway,
Oh, I'll
Um,
try to find it.
it's not on the back. I can't see it.
Too bad.
I could look it up, but you can look it up. I mean, he wrote all sorts of great classics, and
Yep,
my
you're
favorite
saying.
is "It's Only a Paper Moon."
Oh, yeah.
That one's great.
Well, that actually is some pretty good
Oh,
lyrics.
it's fantastic. But
You know,
he,
oh, sorry.
oh no, go ahead. You go ahead.
But I was just going to mention these backup guys, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion. They do an awesome job.
Yeah.
Especially the Scarecrow, awesome kind of dancer. I could see the people
yes.
in the framing
Yeah, he's
device, and
excellent.
they just did. One guy did a little move. I said, "That guy's a dancer."
Yeah, right away at the beginning of the movie you knew, and he turned out he was a
Yeah.
scarecrow, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. And really, the best actor in this is Toto. He's
Toto.
rootin' awesome.
Oh, Toto, say you're not dead. Oh,
You
my
want that
God.
dog to live forever.
What
They
an
should
amazing
Benjamin
actor of
Button
a dog.
Toto and put him in every movie.
I don't think he had to put a foot wrong, He always seemed to be following.
So good.
Following
So good. And
Dorothy
he
around.
loved Dorothy.
Yeah.
Just loved her.
Oh,
you could
yeah,
tell.
she was kind of manhandling.
Yeah,
Poor
and he didn't
girl,
care.
anyway.
He was just like,
That's
oh,
right.
I love Dorothy.
He was,
Or, well, Judy
he'd
Garland.
growl on cue. He'd be looking where you'd want to be looking, like there was some dancing going on. He's watching the dancing, stuff like. Remember, he's the guy. Was it the Scarecrow? He's dancing here, no, it was the Tin Man. I think. Dancing here, dancing there. And,
Yeah, and Toto
Toto's
managed to not get
watching.
stepped on.
Most other dogs would be going, like, look at the camera here.
And then he'd leave. Yeah. But no, Toto was right on
cue.
all the time. So, yeah, I was going to mention some of the songs, but I don't think we have time to go through them, why they work so well.
Well, I mean, for one thing, tunes. So,
Yeah, the tunes.
I mean,
are-
it's the Paul McCartney
but
thing.
the
where
lyrics are great too.
There's a big jump in the the melody, from,
But you've talked about Somewhere Over the Rainbow and how it really isn't sung somewhere. It's sung somewhere, right? But it's okay because you have the 1, 2, 3, where 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, right? So it's okay